Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction, Dean Hutchins. I think it's going to be straight downhill from here. I'd probably be better off just sitting back down. Well, let me tell you about my graduation from law school. This is many years ago when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. We had a very distinguished speaker at our commencement, and I don't remember his name. I don't remember anything that he said. I do remember very distinctly wishing that he would stop talking. And all I can say is, if you find yourselves in that position this morning, Dean Hutchins made me do it. I want to say congratulations to all of you. I was really impressed by the remarks of Sam and Casca, and you all have a great deal to be proud of. You take a big step in a journey that you have shared with your friends and your family, and you should take time to savor that. You are, I'm sure, excited. You should be proud, and you probably are a bit uncertain, as I know I was when I graduated from law school. But this is a watershed moment for all of you. And I know when I graduated, and I'm sure you're going through the same thing, I'm sitting there wondering, what's next? Did I make the right choices? Will I ever find a job that I think is fulfilling? Will I ever get out of debt? And I can tell you, I can answer all of those questions based on many, many years of experience. I can answer them very directly. I don't know. When I look in the mirror, I see an 18-year-old trapped in this aging wreck of a body. And I spent decades in public office. As Dean Hutchins mentioned, I got bills passed, I sued people, I prosecuted people, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, when are the grown-ups coming back in to reassert control? I don't think those questions ever go away for anybody. I know most of you are probably apprehensive about the bar exam, and I'm going to tell you a bar exam story, so this is a trigger warning, okay? This is a true story. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to one of my close friends in law school. He was in a 5-person bar review study course, or study group. And at the end of day 2, because back in those days there were lots of essays, it was an essay day, and his group got together after the day, and somebody said, I can't believe there was a Marbury versus Madison question on the essays. And one kid said, what Marbury versus Madison question? My friend said, the one that was on the back of the bar exam? He said, I never looked at the back of the bar exam. It was a 25-point question. He failed by 2 points. Yeah. So, there are some morals to this story. Of course, he made his friends swear that he would not be identified if anyone told this story. But the first lesson is, you're lawyers. You got to look at every page. You got to read every sentence. You got to read every word. This guy, let me go back and say that this guy retired a couple of years ago from a very long and distinguished career as a judge. The second moral of the story is that it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It matters how many times you get back up. If you haven't ever failed at anything, if you haven't ever made a huge mistake, you will. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. The thing is, you should try to avoid stupid mistakes, but you're certainly going to make mistakes. And the critical thing is to figure out what you did wrong, pick yourself back up, and go get them. With your law degree, you have a tool that will allow you to improve the lives of your clients and of society at large. Thousands of years ago, the Greek scholar Archimedes said, "Give me a place to stand and I will move the world." What he was talking about was leverage. And as a lawyer, you have a powerful lever. You have the ability to be agents of change, like the people who are sitting behind me, like Congressman John Sarbanes. The law is your tool, and you should use it as a force for good and as a force for justice. By graduating from law school, you've demonstrated that you have the ability to think critically, to analyze sharply, to write compellingly, and to solve problems nimbly. You're in the 1% now, perhaps not in wealth, but in terms of ability and achievement and potential to make an impact, you are among the elite. The skills that you have learned are skills that throughout history have improved the lives of human beings. About 10 or 15 years ago, I listened to a course on CD. It's one of the great courses. It was a course called Big History, and it was taught by Professor John Christian, and it's now on the web. It was literally a history from the Big Bang to today. 13.7 billion years in a few lectures. It was 500 million or 1 billion years for each lecture that he gave. So the perspective is like nothing else you've ever seen in any other course. It starts with cosmology, the creation of the universe, the formation of the galaxies, and ultimately our solar system, and finally the Earth. Then it moves into geology, the movement of the continents, and then the beginning of life, biology. And there are many lessons in this course, but the one that I think is most pertinent for today relates to the question of why human beings have come to dominate the Earth, why we have spread over every continent, and why we're able to adapt to so many environments, and why we have caused the extinction of thousands and thousands of other species and managed to survive ourselves. And the answer is not because we have the biggest brains. We don't. It's not because we have opposable thumbs. It's because of what Professor Christian calls collective learning. We, like many other animals, learn things and are able to pass them on to our children and have them passed on from our parents. But we have archived, accumulated, and passed on knowledge from thousands of years ago and from thousands of miles away. Every case you read, every TV show you watch, every modern tool that you use, from a pencil to a cell phone, represents the collective learning of millions of people. With the internet, with cell phone technology, the speed and volume of collective learning grows, and it grows exponentially. We know what a scientist across the world has discovered within minutes or even seconds of that discovery. You stand on the cusp of the most rapid advances in knowledge, in learning, in human history. Artificial intelligence, of course, will accelerate those advances. As lawyers, you are uniquely well equipped to take advantage of that rapid learning. As I look across this gathering, this room, I ask each of you to capitalize on collective learning. When we look around the world today, it's clear that we need change agents. We see it across the planet in a changing, warming climate that threatens natural resources and the lives of billions of people. We see it right here at home, where our nation is in turmoil. Racism, violence, and hate seem to be on the rise. At times, the rule of law, the foundation of our democracy and the subject of your studies for 3 years, is under attack. In my lifetime, the only period that was as perilous, as troubled, was the 1960s, when we were in the middle of the struggle for civil rights and in the middle of the Vietnam War. In 1968, Bobby Kennedy, the former president's brother, not to be confused with his slightly addled son, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., was running for president. And Bobby Kennedy was to speak at a rally in Indianapolis. Shortly before the event, Martin Luther King was assassinated. The Secret Service wanted Kennedy to get out of town, and he refused. He insisted upon addressing the crowd. And they did not know that King had been murdered. There were no cell phones in those days, no internet. So when he told them, if you listen to the recording, there's kind of a collective gasp and then cries and screams. And Kennedy spoke extemporaneously, and among the things that he said was the following. He said, "What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence or lawlessness, but love and wisdom and compassion for one another and a feeling of justice towards those who still suffer in our country." Kennedy spoke those words 55 years ago. It's pretty clear that my generation has failed to achieve the ideals that he expressed. It's up to you. I hope you will hold yourself and your colleagues to the highest standards. I hope you will strengthen and adhere to and respect our legal institutions. Our democratic system cannot survive without them. If you want to make a difference, take responsibility. You now have a place to stand. Change the world. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
So thank you, Brian, for that wonderful speech. And I have, through the magic of an amazing staff, a small gift to express our gratitude to you. Thank you.